Hey, thanks for joining me. Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and, well, I'm outside, finding my place in this forest. I spend a lot of my day, almost 25 years, over 25 years, working in camping, summer camps, and outdoor education. And my goal in all of that is to, well, help prepare the next generation for nature stewardship. And a big part of that is teaching to be comfortable where we fit in to nature and as animals on this planet. And some of the messaging I've tried to convey on this channel is, just the amazing potential that we've lost, and we're just now starting to understand and regain, as far as our understanding, the interconnectedness of trees, how important they are, how they complement and complete our ecosystem. Is the foundation, all right? So, I mean, the vast majority of life in this forest are the producers. And by producers, I mean it's the vegetation, right? The trees are, the majority of that, but the producers collecting energy from the sun, and they make their own food, right? So they are producers. They produce their own food. And when I do find other living things in the forest, they are first level consumers. That's right. They consume energy by eating, as first level consumers, the vegetation. That would make them herbivores, right? And zoologically, we define an herbivore by their teeth, right? So they've got square nipping teeth in the front, and they've got a row of molars in the back for mashing and grinding. So there's a whole level of consumers in there. And then we've got our second level consumers, which again, not as many, right? Because it takes a large number of producers to feed a small number of first level consumers, our herbivores. And it takes an even smaller number of other living things to be able to feed and sustain themselves off of the, lesser population of herbivores. So our first level, typically we would teach as the omnivores, those consumers, second level consumers that can feed. The majority of their diet does come from the producers, the plant life, but they will feed off of other living things, right? So I like to call them opportunivores, right? They're, and again, zoologically, we define our second level consumers, our omnivores, again, by their teeth. So they will have, some teeth in the front for nipping at vegetation. They will have some molars, but they will also have some other pointy teeth, right? They'll have some incisors, some canines, and that's for grabbing, right? Or for, so they'll have stronger teeth for crushing. So think about those animals that we would define ourselves, right? So we've got all those teeth. We are omnivores. Bears are omnivores, right? Despite what people think. Yeah. I'll watch a bear spend days up in a tree eating beech nuts or apples. Watch a black bear spend days in a farmer's field, unfortunately, just eating grain, right? But opportunity knocks, and they'll take advantage of an animal they come across, or they scavenge, right? So, and with all the biomass in the forest supporting our herbivores, and then a small number of omnivores, there are actually very few actual third level consumers, are what we call our predators. Based on their teeth, yeah, all their teeth are designed for processing meat, right? So we've got our third level consumers as we think of our predators, and that's not us, right? I know we have percentage of the population that they're on a keto diet and they're going to try and eat meat, and there is a lot to be said for that. But the way we are designed, right? Our early ancestry, we developed big brain pans thanks to our opposable digits, but we were able to move forward thanks to our ability to process meat, and we changed the way we ate that meat, which allowed our body to, synthesize, process it a little bit differently. But in the forest, that's a very small population of the animal life that is in fact at that level. So when I teach about food chains and teach about food webs, which is the interconnectedness of food chains, I also want to include those insectivores, right? A lot of birds, a lot of animals just eat insects. And again, at the top of that food chain, everything, despite how fast, how strong, how many of them there are, everything has a lifespan. And when it dies, we have our decomposers, right? That's where everything gets returned to dirt, right? Which in turn feeds everything else, right? So that is the cycle, and that's what I do all day. So I have a passion for it. I've got a lot of experience, and it still brings me wonder to think that all of this serves a purpose, right? Everything is out here for a reason, serves a purpose. And for us as animals on this planet, we used to know from bud to seed to cone to root to bark, cambium, all of it. It all had a purpose. We could use it at different times of year to meet different needs that we had. Medicinal, construction materials, food, right? And I'm slowly learning more about that. And I do intend on sharing more about what I know about different uses for different things. So I thought I'd start with that foundation of, what it is that we're actually a part of and where we fit in, right? So I'm not part of this forest. I'm not even a guest. I'm a trespasser, right? And I try and minimize my impact by dedicating myself to trails so that I'm not, spreading my impact, my literal impact, compressing the soil and cutting off the oxygen supply and changing the way water flows everywhere in the forest. I want to localize and minimize my impact by dedicating every one of my footsteps to a path. Otherwise, the whole forest would be changed by my 15 years of walking through the forest. And that's why we've got pathways and parks, right? And we've got some no-mow zones now, right? So we can keep as much of our green spaces that were dedicated to green life to help others, other living things, right? Whether it's bees or birds, amphibians, reptiles, our herbivores, omnivores, and carnivores, and our decomposers. All right, so that's the flow of things, and we're just one very small part of it. But my hope is to inspire and teach and share and grow the next generation who are going to be here long after we are the stewards of our home, right? Start at the local level, get people to make changes in their home, how it affects their community, how it affects the planet, right? So thanks for listening. I appreciate you. I'll share again soon. Bye.